Hi, everyone. Hi. Hi, Jabin. All right, I'm going to have you on stage, Jabin. One second here. If you want to just hit go on stage in the lower right-hand corner, you're good to go. Perfect. Here we are. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Let's get started. We've got lots to cover. So with our first session, we are starting with the Practitioner's Playbook, Creating Impactful Programs with Dr. Javen Moore. You'll learn how to define your ICP, how to set measurable goals, and how to create your overall program format. But before I dive in, I do want to take a moment to introduce Dr. Jabin Moore. Dr. Jabin's dedication to restoring health through a holistic approach began early in life after witnessing his mother's prolonged health struggles. Then at age 25, while attending chiropractic school, Dr. Jabin faced his own health challenges, experiencing unexplained fatigue, joint pain, and low testosterone. After a year of searching for answers, a doctor at a functional medicine conference suggested Lyme disease. Testing confirmed the diagnosis, and after several treatments, he has been symptom-free for over a decade. Dr. Jabin's extensive training spans chiropractic kinesiology, acupuncture, functional medicine, and more. He continues to pursue advanced education in areas like functional blood chemistry, thyroid health, and Lyme disease, ensuring his ability to address complex health issues with a comprehensive approach. Dr. Jabin, thanks a ton for being here today, and I'll leave it to you to take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to be talking about creating our programs and looking at, what is your topic that you need to be talking about. Not only that, but once you have that topic, some good ways to get content that people are interested in. This comes a lot from the marketing perspective because you got to have something that people want to purchase and you got to know how to put it out there to those people. So I'm going to get my presentation on the screen for everyone. Hopefully they can all see it now. And here we go. So this is where we're getting started. My background, you heard a little bit about it, a lot of different training, because at one point I thought it's more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge. That's what we need. That's what's going to help people. And I started to realize that throughout time, it was a bit about your approach, a bit about your program, about your automations, about your education that you can give to people that really truly brought value. One doctor told me one time, it's about 10% of your knowledge will fix 90% of the people that you see. That really struck me. And I go, maybe it's not necessarily that I need to learn more information every day, but maybe I need to get my systems and my communication skills put together in a better way so that the people that I'm working with can have an amazing experience and then stay tuned in on what we're actually doing and then have the better follow through. So that's really what I've worked on with building programs. And I remember when I was sick, I was chronically inflamed. I was confused what's happening in my body. Doctors weren't really helping me. I was brain fogged. I was fatigued. I remember it being really hard to want to follow directions or being even not just the want, but the ability to follow directions. So as I realized this when I was sick and I realized how tired I was and that there wasn't a fast fix, it really drove me to be passionate about root cause medicine. It drove me to be passionate about infections and toxicity. So that's really what I built my program around. And that was my passion. But even from that, I had to figure out, well, chronic illness, root cause medicine covers so many topics. What is it that I'm going to present myself as in my marketing? What am I going to present a program on? It can't just be all symptoms all the time for everything, because you're just going to become the background noise to people that have their niches and their messaging figured out. So as I got healthier and stronger on my journey and got to have a lot of fun and got into clinic and grew my practice and had a family, it really helped me to realize that my brick and mortar practice that I was trying to help everybody with everything. And it was doing okay. It was doing fine. I was making a great living, enjoying what I was doing. But when I really wanted to grow and scale and build, figuring out that niche helped me to grow from about 500 patients seen to more than 12,000 in just a few years. So in the last 4 years, my clinic has grown from myself to 5 practitioners and is really taken off at scale. And it's because of the things we're going to talk about today. And it's being able to find your 5 key factors for program success. That's really what has scaled my practice, is the messaging around who I am, what I'm doing, and the consistency to it, right? So not switching gears all the time and going from here and everywhere. So factor 1 is you have to choose a topic that you both enjoy, but is also a topic that people out there want and are willing to do and put the effort in, pay for, right? So finding the ideal customer profile. And if I ask you right now, what is your topic? What is it, your niche? What do you really love talking about? And I know when I ask this question most of the time, especially when it's a one-on-one conversation with another doc or another practitioner, like, well, I really like gut, but I also like anxiety, but I also like skin. And there's all kinds of ideas that are coming up because we all love working with people and helping people. And we've had success with a lot of different topics. But when you're creating a program, it can't be the one size fits all program. No one's paying for that. It can't be the I fix everything program because, again, no one's paying for that. And it's also too broad to get attention. So you have to get your ideal customer. And for me, one of the ways I did that was I simply just went out on social media and I looked at the posts that I posted and what people connected with me on. And that helped me to get an idea of, well, what I spoke about well and what seemed like people connected to when I was talking about it. So it should align to you, but you should also align to who you're working with. So, I don't target women's hormones because I feel like I'm not a woman and I'm not passionate about specifically women's hormones. So I'm not going to talk about that. However, women's hormones are extremely important. And for me, in my opinion, if you have a bunch of mold you're living in, hormones are going to be off. So if I speak about anything to do with women's hormones, it's usually about from a root cause perspective. So I'm not targeting women's hormones, I'm targeting mold. And that's actually what my program has become about a lot, is mold toxicity. And I love working with the complex and the chronic. So it's perfect for me. So finding that avatar of what you want in a specific niche is important. And it doesn't mean that's the only thing you're going to work with, because for me, being mold, it allows me to work with a ton of different things. I'm working with men's health, women's health. I'm working with fatigue and brain fog and all these other topics, but I'm marketing and talking about mold, and it's one direction. And this has also allowed for me to gain a reputation where in Facebook groups, sometimes they'll ask who are some of the top mold docs, and my name's come up before, which feels sometimes kind of crazy because I never expected to have that happen. But because I niched and I created an expertise, it allows for people to then refer to you and create authority around you. So if you're wondering, like I said, look at your social media, figure out what people talk about you, look at what goes well. From there, you can find more analytics about the people that are following you and who are connecting to you. So some people connect to men better, some to women better, some to children better, some to 70-year-olds versus 30-year-olds, right? Well, how do you know who you're connecting to? One of the ways to do that is look at your analytics. So when I go into Instagram, it actually pulls up the analytics. People from English-speaking countries that are 35 to 55, 92% female, those are my analytics. So who should I probably target my program to? That population. So when I then am going in and building a program, I'm thinking about, well, what does that population really want to see? How do they use technology? How busy are they? And what verbiage can I use that best fits that population when I'm building out a program? And if you're not on social media right now, and if you're not doing different things, you can poll even within your clinic. So we send out polls to our clinic through our softwares. So practice better. It's going to be a big time software that you can use to send out an email. And in that email, you can create a poll and try to figure out, okay, what are people looking for? Who are you and what are you doing? And then that allows for you to curate your information that you're building. Once you have that information, you need to figure out what to do with it. So once you know what your ideal client is, so you've figured out their gender, their target type of condition, their age range, what their time constraints are going to be, you can use that information with AI. If you're not using AI, it's time. It's you're either using it or you're falling behind, and that's just the way it is today. So jump on the bandwagon so that you can get ahead. You can go in there, you can put your avatar. And for me, my avatar, 40-year-old woman struggling with anxiety and fatigue. Give me 10 problems that they want to avoid, so their pain points. Summarize what their health journey looks like so that when we're building an email, a marketing email, we can use this to speak to them a little bit and make sure that it connects on a level that when they read it, they go, okay, yeah, that's me. That's what they're trying to help. The next topic is figuring out, have they seen other practitioners? Could those other practitioners have said different things to them? And what are their pain points of symptoms that they're experiencing so that you can speak to that? Now, there's multiple ways to speak to this. You can do it in your marketing. So you can create, say, a Facebook ad or an email that's saying, hey, if you're dealing with this, this, and this, here are some things that you can avoid. So you're using 2 of these different ChatGPT responses to build an email and then build solutions for them that, again, creates more expertise for you because you're teaching on these topics, even though you may have gotten them from ChatGPT, although quite often this just helps you to build those emails, even though a lot of this is in your head, right? Especially if this is your people, this is your clientele, it's going to be in your head. So as you've gotten your avatar, what their needs are, you've started building out content for them, you've got to have something to offer them. And this is where you start putting together your program. And a program is going to be different for different types of people. I was just talking with a friend of mine, and we were talking about her niche is more of the beauty niche. So in the beauty niche, at least the way that I think about it, these people are willing to spend money on their body. They probably are not going to be as desperately committed as the root cause clients that I'm working with that are complex, potentially bedridden people. So we probably can't ask quite as much from those people as far as changing their entire life, although some would. Maybe not all of them are going to be as likely to do that, whereas people that are coming to me are willing to do absolutely anything. Today, we just had a huge win. I had a young woman who's like, for the first time in 2 years, I broke an AIP diet. And if you don't know what autoimmune protocol diets are, they are extremely strict. And she was like, do you know what it's like to be able to add a little bit of almond butter to your food? How much that makes a change? Like when you have people that level of committed, the program you're building for them is going to be very different than the ones that are, I just want to feel a little bit better, or I want to tweak and optimize my hormones, or I want to help live a little bit longer longevity wise. Those people are still great clients, but they're just different levels of asks that you're going to bring to that. So in that situation, also, how long do you want to create a program for? Chronic illness, I'd love to create a year-long program because it's going to take them at least that long to get better. However, I've also noticed that when doing our marketing and when doing questionnaires and when having different offers, people aren't trusting chronic ill doctors to give them a year in a lot of cases. They've been burnt, they've been used, they've been through 20 doctors before me. So the kind of sweet spot is somewhere between 4 and 6 months for us. And we've figured this out just by doing different offers and talking to people. And when people are calling into our clinic and asking us, what are our services? What are our prices? They've really said, well, I don't really want to do 8 months. I don't want to do 9 months. I want to do 4 or 5 months. That would be much better for me. And that would be a pushback against us. So we took that into consideration after another people told us that. And then we said, let's launch that out and let's see. And honestly, when we launched 4 months, it was a game changer for people committing to a program with us. So looking at how long is based off of a few factors. One, how long does it take to get someone well? Two, financially and motivation wise, how much do they have in them? Three, what's the type of person you're working with experience before? So all of those came into consideration. So what should you include in a program is the next bullet. And within this, it's going back to your person. So if you're chronically ill, we probably need some information like labs for you. If you're trying to biohack, because I've looked at putting together some biohacking programs after we've done the root cause, I don't do as many labs, I do more wearables. So I'll bring in an Aura ring or a constant glucose monitor. So thinking through what pieces of that will be there. Does this person need to have constant communication because they're likely to have side effects or diet questions that are complex where they need to have unlimited chat access to you? Or is that not as important? Because for me, that's an increase in price that I offer. And to be quite honest, oftentimes people use a ton of that at the beginning. And as their 4 month program goes on, they use less and less of it. So I just know that I front load my energy at the beginning with clients. And then as it goes on, it's going to be a little bit less. So I just take that into consideration with the amount of energy that I'm going to be putting into them so I can understand how many people I can take on. What does a 5-star experience look like in that, right? So if we're trying to create that 5-star experience where people really love the program, they talk good about it, they're giving good referrals about it, they want to be in it, does that mean that it comes with all supplements or wearables or therapies that you're bringing in as a part of it? Do you bring those in before, or is it something that can be add-ons later? I know as I've talked to clients, they really love most everything they need to be a part of their program. We actually don't offer all the supplements as a part of our program just because we have such a custom protocol and program that goes for each person based on some of the information that we collect from them. It didn't fit for us. But if you can create a all-inclusive program that covers everything, that really does offer a stand-up 5-star experience for many people. Do you need to have interaction with them all by yourself, or can you bring in a health coach? I've brought in a health coach to support me along the way. So they get me as a more analytical doc, and they get her as much more of what I always say, the touchy-feely, even though it's virtual, so there's no real touch, but just like that emotional connection with our health coach. She's phenomenal. She really helps people connect, female to male. So I figured, that would help that way. If there's ever anything that someone doesn't want to say to a male or a female, they have both sides of it there. So we tried to look at all the different perspectives that someone could want to create a better experience. And when I put all of these costs together, we started looking at what is the pain point on pricing? Is it 3K, 5K, 10K? And for us, that roughly 5 to 7,000 for root cause was a price that many people were tolerant of. So we tried to fit in the 5-star experience into that program. And you have to look at your community of people that you're marketing to. Is it 20, 21-year-olds that are just getting out into having a job? They probably don't have as much money. Are you working with young moms? Again, they probably don't have as much money. Are you working with CEOs? They probably have a lot more money and expect a lot more experience. So you have to modulate your pricing based off of the people you're working with. And when I say this does not mean off of your confidence. Your confidence as a provider, oftentimes, until you get going in this, is going to be a little bit harder to want to put a big price out there, a price that's fair for what you're giving. So for us, my 4-month program includes me for 4 appointments, our health coach for up to 8 appointments, unlimited chat access to both of us. It includes a gift, supplements, some covered, the labs that we're going over. So it includes quite a bit of overhead. So I took all of that into consideration, and then we priced our expertise within that, and it came out around that 5 to 7,000, depending upon which doc you're working with in my clinic. I've seen people give away their services for free, read labs for free. And if you're not pricing yourself appropriately, people will see it, they'll hear it, and they'll know you're not confident and you're not the one that is for them, because you have to create yourself as authority and be confident. I remember I was doing just visit to visit, $70 a visit back when I was local in practice only. And I had a good practice. But as I raised my prices and upped the experience and upped the things that they were getting, when they got into a program for $5,000 to $7,000, the commitment level was there. People really, really stick to it. They listen, they dive in, they fill out their paperwork, they fill out their journals for me so that I can really do better for them. And then we create a roadmap, which helps us to identify what direction we're going. And what that looks like is going through all of the history, the labs, the traumas, putting it all into a roadmap that they know where they're headed. So you can see on the screen here, we have the starters. They were low in vitamin D, their T3 was low, so we're going to bump those up. Their stressors, their infections, their toxins, in an order that allows this person to know what direction they're going, which means that they understand, once we do this, then we're going to this, and then we're going to this. Also, with chronic illness being, like I said, I'd love to be with somebody for more than a year. And if I'm only doing a 4 or 5 month program, when I have these bullet points, I just tell them up front, hey, each one of these is at least a month, up to 3 months. So this program likely won't be done in 4 months, but this is where we're going to be headed. And then when we get to the end of 4 months, we can retest, we can see what things look like, and we can go from there. So I'm creating a great expectation at the beginning. If you don't create expectations, then people will create their own. Oftentimes, if they create their own expectation and you don't meet it, then they're upset, which then gets you a bad review, or this person doesn't want to move forward with you. So creating upfront expectations, and Practice Better does a phenomenal job with being able to send out automations of emails and create different guides and links that can be inside their software that can help you to create those expectations. So if you don't want to repeat yourself every time, put a link in there. You see all these links I have for labs and guides. You can put a link in there, review this after first appointment, and it can go through and tell them what to expect so that they're on the same page you are, which then creates positive experiences. And then you need to create quick wins for clients. And this doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're better after day one, but maybe they accomplish a task that gets cleaner water, or they get their mold test done, or they see the labs and they know that these things are going to help move them forward. And then you send them a, like, all right, you did it. You completed this task, little positive certificate. So people are having wins. They want to win, especially if they've been working on something for a long period of time. They want wins. They want to know that they're finishing things. They want to know that they're moving in a forward direction. Another way that you give wins is you do a symptom tracker. So I have everyone fill out a symptom tracker every single appointment. So that's 4 appointments in our 4 months. And this allows for us to track their data, which helps me greatly understand where they're at. It also accelerates my appointments because I'm not asking these questions in their appointment. They're filling them out before the appointment. So not only is it helping them to see when they're getting better, it also allows them to get something done that would typically take time for me to ask all the questions. And if you've ever been on an appointment with somebody, you ask them, well, how's your fatigue over the last 3 days on an average scale of, with 10 being the worst and 0 being the best? It may take them 5 minutes to give you an answer to that. But you need that information to be able to make next decisions. If you're doing it before, it gives them plenty of time to go through it, not on your time. So then you can move forward and they don't feel stressed about giving you an answer. So this gives them wins though, because you go back and you go, last time you were a 5 out of 10 fatigue, now you're a 3. Here's a big win. We're still moving forward. It makes everyone in the process happier. At the end of your 4 months, you can say you made a 40% progress, and that means that we've got some more work to do. Let's start our next program together. Now, deciding on how you want to set up your program is going to be important too. Do you want to do this one-on-one, meaning your time with one person, which means you have to charge for your time with that one person? And does your client fit that niche? I work with MCAS, I work with Lyme disease and mold. It's really hard to do a group program with those people. However, once they've been through a program of a 5-month situation, sometimes they can move into a group program. So just looking at what your niche is and how much time and effort they need helps you to understand whether a one-on-one program works for you or whether a group program is going to work for you. And in a group program, you might be seeing 5, 10, 15. I've got a friend, Laura, who sees 500 people at once, but her niche is not seeing as chronic of people as what I'm seeing. So therefore, then she has the ability to have a more group focused, more standardized protocol program that allows for her to see a lot of people, but not as custom. You can use the group scheduling and the group paying portion of the software where it sends out, pay your invoice. They can do that all online. They can schedule online. So therefore you don't have to have staff rescheduling, in Laura's case, 500 people, because it's a one-time group that's sent out, video link, everybody jumps on at the same time, or it's scheduling maybe a singular appointment that you do a drop of information with a health coach. So understanding which niche you're in is also going to help you. And then number 5, choosing a name for your program. If you're not creative, if you're the analytical side of the brain and you want something to help you, ChatGPT. Remember, if you fed it already all the information about your avatar and it's creating information about bullets of how to market, then say, okay, next, I'm creating a program. Here's what I'm putting in my program for this target niche. Can you create a name for this program that would be enticing for that niche, for that group of people, that avatar? And say, can I have 5 different names? And then you can pick that name and it'll give you several options for you to look at that honestly are just as good as any marketing company that I've ever worked with. So I love getting ChatGPT to save me money on marketing teams and do the work for me in a matter of 10 seconds. And then you just have to make the decision which one of the 5 is the best. And what I do, I'll put together a poll, I'll post it out to Instagram, say which one of these seems like the best title for a program I'm going to come up with. And then that connects your community to you and then continues to build you as someone that they know, like, and trust. So which one of these steps are you going to implement first? We tried to put them in a predictable order, although I think choosing a name could be earlier. But if you don't have the full format, I don't think you have all the information you need to create that expectation yet. So if you haven't chosen your topic because you love too many things, just pick one, create the program for that, grow it, scale it. Once it's operating all on its own, then you can move to the next one. So hopefully this has been helpful for everyone. And what we've done is we've created a free gift for you. It's a template for building programs based off of some of the information we made today. So just scan that QR code and that template will be there for you to have. And hopefully this has been helpful for everyone.
Amazing. Thank you, Dr. Moore. And in record time, we are just within a minute left. So if you've got a moment, be sure to scan that QR code. I don't know if you want to bring that back up, Dr. Moore, and then that way it can live 50 seconds.
It actually does. There we go.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, we just wanted to take a moment to thank you so much. We won't have time to get to a Q&A. We did see your questions. Keep in mind that all of your questions can be answered over in the Practice Better community in the practitioner workshop space. So we'll have lots of opportunity to ask and answer those questions there. And you are going to get pushed to the next section in 20 seconds. So stay tuned. We're going to talk all about pricing. I know there was a lot of questions for Jabin about how to price his program. So hopefully Avita can cover this in her programs. Once again, thanks for your time, Dr. Jabin Moore. We are so privileged to have you here.
Thanks for having me. All right. I guess I'll just step out.